Okay, I left off at hold up. We did this already, so this would be part two. Part two of part one, continuation of part one. So I say, hold up, we did this already. I ain't thinking nothing of it. He nods his head. He gets in the shower. We have a conversation. We go on about our way. But what I forgot to leave out is I asked him, like, what's your intentions with me? This nigga started playing the song talking about just not buying, just window shopping. Okay, so you pretty much told me, uh, you just pretty much told me you window shopping. Okay, cool. You said you window shopping. So we continued to talk on the phone. We didn't hang out. I think we maybe met up one more time after that. So he doing his thing, I'm doing my thing. We would talk to each other, but also at the same time, that's when I realized that, and I told him, I said, I'm overbearing, but I'm really not overbearing, and I'm clingy. I mean, when I'm in a relationship, that's it. I'm in a relationship with that person, and that person only ain't got time for nobody else, and I only see that one person. But we weren't in a relationship. So when I say continued on, I would go to the office. Uh, we would probably see each other in the office probably on the weekends, not during the weekday. Uh, we would still talk on the phone. So I'm assuming nobody knew what the fuck was going on, and if they did, I didn't really fucking care. Okay, obviously he did, I didn't. Okay, so as time goes on, we in the office. I think he's the smartest person in the motherfucking room. Cause anytime I needed some help with something, guess who I called? I called him because I thought he was the smartest person out of all the people in the office. I thought he was the smartest person. So when I needed help, I called him if he was in the office. So as time, as the time goes on, um, something happened. A week prior, I had a dream. But in the dream, I saw the office, but I didn't see the people. But because where I was emotionally, um, I thought it was gonna be between there was gonna be a disagreement or argument between me, him, and somebody that I know, right? That's where the dream was. Cause I said I had the dream and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, so I didn't see what happened. I just knew that there was gonna be some commotion. Okay. Prior to all of this happening and everything, um, I'm being mindful of who I'm around. I'm being very mindful and I'm being very aware of who I'm around. While we're talking, he comes to me. We're on the phone one day and he tells me, he was like, something about praise you in the West and shame you in the East. He said that 2 times. I knew exactly what he was talking about. What he was talking about was also at the same time, me going to this office, I picked up another opportunity by going through this office to do work through the same person. Now this is before all hell broke loose. Okay, this is before all hell broke loose. So I'm working in the morning, for a transportation company early in the morning. And then I go do Lyft, and then I go to the office, or I go do DoorDash. That was my way of making my money. Okay. Well, when he said that, I knew something was up, but he never said what was said. He never said what was said. So I never bothered to ask either, because if you come to me and say praising you in the West and shaming you in the East, that lets me know somebody said some shit about me. Now, mind you, I don't know these people from motherfucking Adam. We all from the same city. Yeah, we all from the same city. That's best I could say. We all from the same city, because I had never seen these people in my life prior to this moment. Okay, I may have seen them, but didn't pay attention to them in passing or at a different function or whatever. Never paid attention to them. So now, oh, excuse me. So now we fast forward. I come in the office one day, and I think when I came in the office, I was kind of like, my man, I was pissed about something or whatever. And one of the co-workers was sitting with the friend, which is her friend too. She looked at me and she's like, ooh, you looking real crazy right now. I don't know what the fuck that meant. I didn't bother to say nothing. I just looked at her, went back to what the fuck I was doing, and that was it. So I was sitting in, I was observing. Believe me, I was observing. They may not thought I was observing, but I was observing in the motherfucker, okay? I was listening, and I was looking, and I was paying attention, and I saw a lot of shit. I was like, I knew I wasn't coming back the next season because there was some shady shit going on up in there, okay? So, as the time progresses or whatever, I told you, a week before hell broke loose, I had a dream about it. Well, we go to the office one day. We supposed to have a staff meeting. Staff meeting, right? This is part one. Staff meeting. We go to the staff meeting. Now, in this staff meeting, it was supposed to be talking about increasing prices the next season and everything. So I'm all like, okay, you know what's up, this, that, and the other. Let me tell you, we ain't even get to discuss this shit. It was said, and then next thing you know, all hell broke loose, okay? Somebody was worried about who was doing who, and then somebody backdoor conversations. Backdoor conversations had been had with people, and people said something to somebody else, and it was a hot ass mess. It was a hot ass mess. Niggas was getting ready to fight. Women running up on men. Shit being broken. Police call. Jury being taken off. It was a mess, and I was just sitting there looking like. I was just sitting there listening like, and them niggas didn't say nothing that I didn't already. Oh, they said a few things that I didn't know, but I was like, okay, what the fuck ever, whatever. And so that's when all hell broke loose. Okay, people got into it. Police was called. That's it. That I was like, ooh, it's too much negative energy up in here. I was like, I had to really reconsider some shit. Now you want to know what's funny about this shit, and I'm gonna tell you this shit. People often say jokes, and you don't know what's the truth and what's a joke at this point. I know what's the truth, and I know what's a joke. So somebody, this person that I'm talking about, I come out in the hallway, and he look at me like, oh, I'm sorry, let me go back. I was told that she was gonna fire me. So I guess she had been talking shit about me because prior to that, no, take that back. I guess she was she was telling the office that she was gonna fire me. I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. So then this smart ass nigga gonna say, well, you should have asked Sarah what was gonna happen with her psychic ass. I just stopped. I looked at him. I nodded my head and walked off. So at this point, what's truth and what's fiction? Because what he said, what's a joke and what's not a joke? Okay, what's a joke and what's not a joke? So I don't go back to the office. I got to go back to the office and get my stuff. I'm like, this shit is, I can't fuck with no shit like this. This shit was all fucked up to me. I had did the clients that I was going to do. So simple as that. That I was just like, I can't go back to that because that was a toxic environment and I don't thrive in toxic environments. I would cuss your ass out in a toxic environment and keep a motherfucking moving. Okay? So, I didn't go back to the office. Him and I still continued to keep in touch. We were still keeping in touch. But there were some things that had happened outside of that I'm like, wait a minute, we did this shit already. He was going through some things. He had a death in his family that really hit him, and I understood all of that. But see, this is why I say men don't communicate. So we kind of like, he started being moody or acting funny, and then he was telling me like, what'd he say, that I was selfish, that I was confrontational. He said a few things to me that kind of hit me in the chest. I'm like, where the fuck he come from with confrontational? I'm least confrontational because I ain't worried about nobody else because I know me. I don't confront nobody about shit. If I need to say something to somebody, I will say something to somebody. Okay? But I've written all of this down, but somehow I can't find my damn book. Let me say this. There was an incident I had done prior to coming to the office. The person in the office tried to put me on front. Tried. She ain't put me on, she tried to put me on front. I had did something, I had exposed the person I was dealing with on Facebook. So she decides to bring that up in front of this other person. Not knowing that me and this other person already established our connection between each other and we was doing what we was doing. So when I say she tried to expose me, she brought it up. So he was like, oh, let me see the video. I said, we friends. You can go see it. It ain't there no more. You can go check my page. It might still be there. I don't know. So she called herself putting me on front because she did tell him, oh, she want to fuck you. He did tell me who said that because he asked, somebody told me, you want to fuck me. He told me, I asked, and he told me the name of the person who said it, and I knew exactly who had said that shit, okay? Mind your business, lady. Anywho, we go on. We had an argument. Something happened. I can't even remember what the argument was about, but I was sitting in my car. He walked up to the car. He said what he had to say, and it was like, I'm like, wait a minute, we did this shit before. I told him 3 things. I said, don't yell at me. Don't yell at me because I was getting in the space. So I'm not going to argue with nobody. Don't yell at me or I'm going to shut down. I told him that. So when he started yelling at me, I shut the fuck down. Like, okay, all right. Yeah, I told you not to yell at me. I'm going to shut the fuck down. I shut down. Everything's going on. After she tried to expose me in front of her, one day I came into the office. In front of him, I'm sorry. After she tried to expose me in front of him. I came into the office the next day, and it was just her. So it was me and her. So I asked her, I said, what was the purpose of you bringing up that video? This is what she said. I didn't bring that up. Another person brought that up. Like I said, you won't know the names to these people until you got to follow the series. So I said, okay. I went and sat at my desk, logged in so I can get ready to do some work. Lo and behold, the person she said that said something that said brought it up, walked in the door. So when she walked in the door, I asked her. I was like, hey. I was like, I got a bone to pick with you, but I was laughing. I'm like, look, I laugh at 99% of shit that people do. I said, I got a bone to pick with you, and I was laughing. So she said, what's up? I said, why did you bring up that video about what I did? She said, I didn't bring that up. She said we weren't even friends at that time on FB, on Facebook, but just on FB. We weren't even friends at the time on FB. Now, the girl who said this was the girl that was in the dream. This was the girl that was in the dream. But also where she was standing, I knew who brought this up first was talking to her, talking to the person. And I say, hey, you brought this up. And when she said, we weren't even friends on Facebook then, I said, you're right. I left it alone. Didn't say nothing else. Didn't bring it up. Didn't say nothing else to nobody. So I already knew the lady in the tax office was full of shit and she was messy. I knew she was messy, but it was all coming out that she was messy as hell. And I'm like, yeah, I can't do this. So I'm like, I already knew I wasn't going back there for the season. I was trying to end the season out until in the tax season was over with. I'm telling y'all all the business. Now, I was trying to hold it, but hell, I catch myself. So, after the debacle, all hell broke loose. I didn't go back to the office. I went back to the office to get my belongings. That was it. Now, what's crazy is that during this time, we had this big old birthday celebration for everybody in the office during March because it was one person's in the office birthday during March. So, with that one person being in the office during March, everybody got something because, of course, my birthday is in August. Nobody was going to be in the office. Somebody else's birthday, same day as mine. And then somebody else's birthday was in July. Okay? So, she did a big hoo-ha. We had another outing and everything. And everybody was giving a gift. And we were giving Alex and Ani bracelets that said friends. Baby, I don't treat my friends like that. And believe me, I gave that bracelet back. I put it in the envelope, slid it right there on her motherfucking desk, came and got my shit, and motherfucking left and didn't say nothing else to nobody. Only person that knew I was leaving that office was the person I'm talking about. And there was several, he was one reason why I left that office. Second reason, the girl messy than a motherfucker. I don't deal with messy people. I'm not a messy person. I don't deal with messy people. I don't deal with messy people or fake people. Fake people, Messy people and liars literally make me itch. Literally, liars. Everybody gonna lie, and I tell people don't lie to me because it's gonna come out. The truth gonna come out anyway. So didn't go back to the office, and that was the end of that. Him and I continued to keep in touch for a very brief moment, but after this, during the course of all of this is when I started really noticing some things. Some changes with myself, some changes within this situation. And this is where I discovered that there is this such thing as part two. In part two, I tell you where I discovered this thing called shadow work, soul searching, shadow work, and this thing called soulmates and twin flames. So stay tuned for part two. If you want to see part two, go ahead and like, share, click, subscribe. If you want to see part two, you want to hear part two, see part two, you're going to have to pay for me